In this video, I'll show you how to scrape Instagram Reels so you can have a never-ending flow of content ideas. I'm going to walk you through how to use Make.com, Apify, and OpenAI's Whisper API to scrape new Reels and extract their transcripts. And then we'll turn those transcripts into an infinite amount of content ideas. All right, let's jump in. So first, let's start with why we would build something like this. And what I've learned from running a content engine for B2B businesses is that usually creating the content is not necessarily the hard part. I'm not going to call it easy. Hard part is usually the consistency around the ideas. And when someone's trying to create content daily or even a couple times a week, it becomes tricky to come up with new ideas. And the idea is that we want to build an automation that fills up an infinite amount of like brainstormed topics that make it very easy to skim through and say, that one's like, that's an idea I can talk about, and turn on the camera, write a script, whatever you might need to do. So to start with this, we have some type of scraping tool from many different sources. We're going to start with Instagram, but you could pull from anywhere. So, scrape YouTube, Google News, comments from posts is a fantastic option. You might want to scrape those, and then those could give you ideas on what to talk about. Just answer the questions. And then like Reddit, subreddits. So these are just some ideas, obviously endless on what you could do, but the idea is we want to start somewhere. So let's start with Instagram and Instagram Reels again, because there's some fun automations we can add in there. So I've started a blank scenario over here, and we are going to have somewhere to store our list of people that we want to follow. So I've created just a blank sheet, infinite content ideas, Instagram Reel scraping, and we're going to scrape some Reels. And we'll do get range values. I've already connected my Google Sheets. Any of these connections I have are super easy to connect. The only one that's a little tricky is the OpenAI. So if you haven't done it, there's a little bit of setup you need to do just to get the API key, but pretty much everyone has instructions on how to set it up. Google Sheets, you literally just open it, sign in, and you're good. So I'll grab a sheet that we've already created. Infinite content ideas. And then we're going to pick one of the sheet names. We'll do profile URLs because we want to grab the profiles, and then the range. I actually haven't added anything to it yet. This is all fresh walkthrough. I'm doing this pretty much live. No profile URLs. Oh, just profile URL. So A2 to like whatever it's going to be for. Let's put a couple in there. Anything advanced? No. Okay. So we'll start there. And sometimes I like to run stuff just to make sure it like works. I grabbed a couple profiles to follow. Again, any content creator, you can really just think about in your industry, like who you would want to follow, like who produces great content. Obviously, you don't want to like steal it exactly as it is, but the idea is like, can their content give you ideas on content you can create? So let me throw in some of the people I like. So this is this guy. And I just honestly, I did a search for AI news because I was like, AI news is changing constantly. I follow it pretty closely. I know a lot of people follow it closely. So I also grabbed this guy. I don't even think I follow this guy. Maybe I should, but I noticed he creates lots of content and has a pretty good following. So let's grab these two. So we have this guy and this guy. And then we can come over to Sheets. Let's run it. Make sure we got something. And we did. So we have our first row, second row. We're good. All right, so now we need to do something with those names. So we say we want to actually go and get these people's Reels and do something with them. So to get Reels, we have a tool called Apify. If you haven't used it before, it is a tool that allows you to scrape pretty much anything. So I've already created an Apify account. You can create an Apify account. I think you get $5 in free credits. And then we choose these actors, and these actors are like the scrapers that go out and like scrape stuff for you. And you can see I've already messed with a bunch of them to play with, but we're going to use the Instagram Reel scraper. And if we look at Make and type in Apify, they have a bunch of, I can't type Apify. They have a bunch of pre-created apps in here and with modules within those. Now, the thing is, it has Instagram data. So if you did just want to scrape the posts, you could use this one, and the posts do something very similar to the reels. So you could grab the content from the post, and we'll use AI to like come up with ideas. I'm really focused on reels in this one, just to make sure that we cover the actual like transcript and getting the content out of the reel, which is somewhat of the tricky part. So we actually have to do a bit of a more integrated version with Apify's actual like main module. And all we're going to do is we want to trigger a run of an actor. So we want to run an actor, and then we choose which one we want. Again, the connection was as simple as logging in, and I have access to all my actors. So we want to do Instagram Reel Scraper. And we do want to run this synchronously. So if you don't run it synchronously, you would need to set up a separate scenario that watches for the runs when they finish, and then it triggers that scenario to then go and get that data from it. I'm just going to set it up as synchronously because it's a little easier. So synchronously pretty much says, hey, go run it. I'm going to sit there and wait until you're done, and then I'll get the data back from it. Input JSON. So you can actually go over to your Apify account. So I've put the username I want to follow, and you can run this in here. So you can run this, it'll scrape it. You can get the data just fine, but we actually want to automate it. So if you click JSON, so you can do all the manual setup, and then we click JSON and actually just get the JSON. So we can copy this. You can see I just set the results to 2. Throw the JSON in, and then this is where we're going to add more of our usernames. I'm going to leave this as is for a minute because we're going to need to come back and put those together in an actual list. But I'm going to leave this just for a minute while I can save this. Everything else, the build, the timeout memory, you can set limits if you want them, but I'm just going to leave it as is. So now we just need to aggregate our bundles from the Google Sheet. So this would be all of the usernames that we've added as the rows. So let's do text aggregator. And we're going to grab the sheets. We want our cell. And then we want to separate each one by a comma. And that should match our, I think we actually need, I think we need quotes. And let's see if that works. I'm going to unlink that and run this real quick just to make sure. And that looks correct. So the nice thing is this JSON here in the Apify is just a string. So we should be able to remove this and then replace it with our text from the previous text aggregator and save it. And that should be all we need. All this is going to do is to say, hey, Apify, go run this actor. It won't actually return the data, which is interesting with these. So we just need another Apify to wait until it's done and then actually go and get the data. So we can do get data set from Apify. And this is going to return the data set. Is it already in here potentially? Default data set ID. So it's going to return the data set that we had. And then we can actually get the data from what it scraped. So we'll leave this JSON limit. Those are all fine. Just get whatever it has. So let's actually just do one person for now, just to have it not take so long. And then let's run it and see what we have so far. Success. So you can see our input JSON worked correctly. It pretty much says, hey, this actor ID ran, started, succeeded, gives the metadata, the stats, but it doesn't actually get the specific data from the actor, because all this did was to say, hey, go run it. And then our actual get data set should return our information from it. So we said we only wanted 2, so it should have gotten the most 2 recent reels, and it looks like it did. So we have bundle 1 has our first, let's see, can we just throw the video in?
I'm loving the tools we have available right now. So
there we go. Has our first video reel, and then bundle 2 has our second. So now we have the data from the reels. Now we actually need to do something with it. This returns a good amount of data. So this is going to give you like a caption, some hashtags, mentions, latest comments. That's cool. If you want to see comments for some reason, there's a separate scraper where you could get more comments, but if you want the most recent comments, so that's pretty sweet. The main thing is we have this video URL, and you'll notice that there's no transcript. So now we have to get a transcript. And we have a cool tool within OpenAI, Whisper transcription. So the Whisper transcription will take any video, any like raw data video, the binary from it, and give you the transcript, which is super cool. So if you're already connected with OpenAI, I use it like crazy already. I'm sure there's other transcript tools out there, but this one was already connected and very affordable. So let's give it a shot. So you'll notice we need the file data, not just the file URL. We only have the file. We only have the file URL. So let's grab the actual data from the URL. So we'll use the HTTP module, which goes and grabs a file. It can grab any file, like image, anything. So we're going to have it use the video URL. What's in advanced? Nothing. Video URL. And then this will grab the actual like binary file. So we can use it now within OpenAI. So we're going to use this within here. So I think we need to save this. We need to save this. Now we'll show up. Yeah, here. So it's going to use get a file, which is great. We don't need a prompt, and we don't need, so you notice the file, the actual data went away, and the name went away. So if we would have mapped it, this is what was there before. Mapped it, file, like file name and data. But we can just use the module, which is nice. Sets it up for us. Model, Whisper. You can add additional prompt, which is what this says if you want to somehow style it. I guess if you wanted to have it replace something or change it to a poem or have it turn it to a song or talk like a pirate, something like that. I guess you could do that here. We don't need to. And what's in advanced? Some temperature stuff, language, yeah. So this will actually go and get the transcript from that video, or it should. I think everything's saved. Did I just not save it? Yeah, okay. So this will actually go and get the transcript from the video. So let's give it a shot because this is super cool if it does. We got the Google Sheet, aggregated the profiles together. Apify takes a few minutes to run. Also, if you don't necessarily want to keep testing this with running an actor, because that actually costs money, you can remove this actor and then pretty much like hard code the data set into the get data set module. And then it's just going to get the same data set over and over again, and it won't run that actor every single time. All right, let's see what we got. So this would have run through 2 reels. So that means we should have 2 transcriptions. Look at that. Man, that's cool. Oops, that is awesome. So you think, I mean, just this setup alone, you think of all the stuff you could do with it. So if you wanted to grab video from somewhere and the transcript's not easily available, you could do this, and then you can picture what we're going to do next. We're going to feed this to OpenAI, have some cool prompts, ask some questions, generate some ideas around it, and we will be winning. All right, we're almost to the home stretch. So let's do another OpenAI module and actually have it do something with this content. So we're going to say, let's just do O3 mini. And then we'll add some messages. So first, if we could do like developer system, you are a helpful copywriter, maybe. And content creator. Seems to make sense. And now we'll have our user, and our user will say, all right, here's what I put. This is a very basic prompt. I wrote it just right now, very quickly. So we'll see how well it does. I'm assuming it will do probably fine for our demo. And the idea would be you would continue refining the prompt to make it better. But it should be just fine, and you'll get the idea across, and you can keep working on it. So the idea is pretty much like, hey, please use the following content to tell me brainstorm content ideas for my own Instagram reels. The following includes a transcript for from a reel of an influencer in my space. I want to brainstorm topics I could talk about. And I say, brainstorm 3 ideas and give a short bullet pointed list of outlines right below it. And I say write them as hooks, because I always like to have the ideas sort of as hooks, because then I could kind of picture like, the top 10 ways that I made $1 billion. That's usually how they're all written. And then we just need to include the actual output from our text, which was here. Here is the transcript. And we can actually add the other data too. So we get the data from Apify. So if we wanted to say, where's their caption? So here's a caption too. Here's the caption to the reel. Here is the transcript. The font includes a transcript, there we go, and caption from a reel of an influencer. So I've sent it. I'm just going to return as text, because I'm going to put it directly into Google Sheets, I think. I'll leave it that way for now. And then we can go from there. So I'm not going to have it output as JSON. I'm going to have it output just as plain text as a result. So the final step is really just to update, throw it back into Google Sheets. And I created a new sheet for add row. I created a new sheet just for the output of this. Sorry, a new tab within the sheet. I think, or do they call them sheets within a sheet? Is it a sheet within a sheet? That didn't sound right. Sheets, infinite content ideas. Let's see what they call them. Sheet name. So just sheets. There's sheets within sheets. It's silly. All right, so ideas and includes table headers. So we have real ID and real URL, and I didn't add the rest of it. So let's add ideas, and then we have content idea. Let's refresh this. Should reload our tables. There we go. So real ID, it's really actual ID. And the reason we do this is we can check for duplicates. And then we just want to make sure we don't add the same one twice. Real URL. This is probably just handy for us if we need it. And then content idea. And this is what came out of our result from OpenAI. This should be it. Let's save it and let's see what happens. Just gonna save the whole thing and we'll run it. Let's see what happens. So it finished the first one and they're just finished the second one. So let's go to our infinite content ideas and see what happened. Hey, look, we have infinite content ideas. So this is it. So this was our reel. And then we have content ideas. And I don't exactly know what the reel's about. Let's see what the reel's about. Probably about cyborgs of some sort. Looks like, yeah, they're doing something, growing something with brains. And then we have content ideas. So cyborg brain, the future is here. Real human neurons on a chip. Organic AI when brain cells compute. I mean, these are brilliant. The prompt wasn't even amazing. I wrote that in 15 seconds. Transform your selfie, become a 3D game icon. Your photo, your hero, create a 3D legend. Choose a bold photo, use ChatGPT for transformation, generate a unique, these are amazing. So that's pretty much it. I mean, this is the guts of the scenario, the automation. This is pretty sweet. That Whisper API is amazing. So that was it. This was a super cool one. I mean, that's extremely powerful. And if you had this automation running, you could either build it for yourself, or if you have a client or a business you're running it for, The ideas for content are endless. So hopefully this was helpful, and make sure you like, subscribe, and check out my next video.